Hello, Shiver Seekers. Are you ready to follow us into the unknown? Ava, one of our listeners, Stephanie, says every time I say that, she starts singing the song from the movie Frozen.
Into the unknown.
Don't sue us, Disney. Don't sue us for copyright. I'm Cynthia.
Yes, you are. And I am Stephanie. And this is the Dark Oak. Into the unknown. There we go.
I was going to sing it, and then I was like, well, I better not for copyright issues. And then I also, the real reason was I was afraid that's not an easy song. And I was like, oh, it's going to get pitchy, just in that opening line, it's going to get real pitchy. And, we're putting unedited video out on YouTube, and it's just going to be out there for the world to see. So I chickened out. So Stephanie did it for you. She's not afraid.
And I was definitely pitchy. And I definitely still have a cold. And I'm probably going to get sued. But you know what? That's just the way I live my life. Free and easy. Well, welcome to the Dark Oak, the mystery podcast with purpose. Each month through our charity, the Branch of Hope Foundation, we give a portion of earnings through our Patreon and sponsors to a nonprofit organization related to the first episode of the month. To find out how you can be a part of the movement, hang out till the end of this episode. Or check us out on Instagram, the Dark Oak Podcast, or check out our webpage, thedarkoak.com.
I just realized, man, this is 3 weeks in a row we've screwed up our intro.
I think it's something funny about, I don't know, being able to just talk to people like on video.
Yeah.
But we didn't really screw it up that much.
No, we didn't. But I was like, why do I feel like something's off? And then I realized it's not a hard and fast rule. It's, what you and I have created. But normally you would say, today I'm going to talk to you about such and such. And then I would do the welcome. And as you're doing the welcome, I'm like, what happened? What's wrong? Why am I feeling off? Yeah. It's okay. Look at us keeping it fresh. Keeping it fresh.
Well, and it is a little fresh because it is Oaktober Fest.
That's
so
right.
we've got new stuff. We've got campfire stories. We've got some more, I'm not going to say themed mysteries, but a little bit. We've got some special things coming up. So it feels fresh. It feels like fall. Have you gotten any decorations up yet, actually?
No.
Speaking of fall.
Well, okay. So, I don't really do the whole, maybe the week of Halloween, I might, put Halloween stuff up. But for me, mine's more of a vibe. So I started, a month ago, my summer throw pillows got switched out to, taupes and browns and plaids, and my blankets got switched to darker colors, and my bedding got switched and stuff like that. But as far as pumpkins and that kind of stuff, I'm probably not even going to do it this year.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I've never been. Yeah, I've never been I have been over the top before, but in the last few years, I've kept it super simple and just more changed the season of the home. Now, the exception to that is Christmas. November 1st, my house pretty much, I take down a lot of my literally regular decor and replace it with Christmas decor. Stuff that's in my house year round, I will take down and replace with Christmas stuff. So for Christmas, I go all out. But the rest of the seasons, it's more just the vibe. And I don't know. That's what I need. I need simplicity.
The vibe.
Now, which is the exact opposite of Stephanie. Because when I go to Stephanie's house, I look and I think this must have taken her months to decorate. Because you really, first of all, I don't know where you store everything. But then
it's difficult.
I don't know where you have the time to put out. I'm jealous. It's beautiful. I love it. But no, girl, that would it's too much. It's too much to do. To look at is gorgeous, but it's just too much for me. I don't know. How long does it take you?
I normally do it over the course of a week. So I'll do a few hours here, a few hours there. But the issue is the storing the things.
Sure.
Because you don't want to put decorations on top of regular decorations. So it's finding somewhere to store the regular stuff while you're putting up decorations. But now that my boys are older, they're like familiar things that come out every year, and they know where they go and they enjoy putting them up. So it's kind of like an event. It's not just me anymore.
Okay.
When they were younger, it was only me. And yes, it was exhausting. Now it's kind of fun because I'm like, oh, guys, look at this again. And they're like, yay. And then they put it away. Like they put it where it goes. So, I mean, now after they go to sleep, I still do the mom thing where I go back and adjust it where it looks better.
Oh, of course.
Don't tell them I did that.
But I totally understand. Like,
yeah. But so they at least get things where they need to go, and it's a whole family thing that we get involved with, and it's a way I can kind of get them to clean areas we don't normally clean, because I tell them we can't put decorations until we clean, as in like dust and declutter and those kinds of things. So, excuse me. Obviously still rocking this amazing cough, so that's fun.
Yeah, that was pretty.
Yeah, it's hearty. It's a hearty cough,
Nice and wet.
It's
Isn't
disgusting.
it the worst? The cough that lasts forever is so awful. I feel bad. I hate that cough.
I am a disgusting creature right now. I really, really, truly am. Hang on, I'm gonna have one more. Hang on. And I feel so bad too, because our sweet girls that have joined our family, they want to be cuddled and snuggled all the time. And I want to be able to do that for them. And so they're like nuzzling up underneath, and then I'm like hacking on their sweet little heads. And I'm like, this is not at all how I pictured this. And they just are oblivious.
Of course they are.
To the fact that like, a lung is coming up, like I'm coughing up an organ. And I'm like, I just need God's hand of protection over all of this.
Oh, I feel terrible.
Man, I really got into it.
Now I feel bad for making fun of you, because like, watch now, I'll get it, karma.
Exactly. No, I mean, I'm at least past the worst of it, and fortunately, in my situation, I really don't get sick like this. Like, this is not something I get sick from often. I think it may be the first, if not like the second time I've ever gotten really sick since we've been doing this podcast. Because I don't ever remember coughing like this on the podcast before.
No, I have, but you haven't.
Yeah. So it's pretty unusual, but luckily I'm in the downhill side, so that's really good. Just one more for good measure. There we go. But yeah, so I enjoy the fall decorations. Back to what we were talking about. I enjoy them because it's kind of just like starting over, starting fresh. So I think that's part of it for me, is decluttering everything, and good vibes. And I don't know, I like it for the kids, especially again now that we have these new friends staying with us. I really want them to be able to experience the whole season, the whole rest of the year, all the holidays, all the fun things, and to just be able to soak that all up, and feel that excitement and that change and magic. I feel like all that has a little bit of magic to it.
Oh, for sure. No, it's beautiful. And you do it for all the holidays. You do it for Easter. You do it for, I feel like I've seen St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, I mean, my big ones are definitely Easter, fall, which has different ones for Halloween, Thanksgiving, and then Christmas. And then I do a little for like Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
And some for 4th of July. So those are kind of the big ones. I did say Patrick's Day for a little while, and then I realized I couldn't pull that and like Valentine's Day off effectively, so that one got waived off. But the other ones I try to do.
Yeah, it's really fun. No, I admire it. I wish I had the whatever it takes that allows you to do that. I'm lacking that magic, Stephanie.
It's called anxiety, Cynthia. I'm happy to share a little of it if you'd like it. I'm happy to do that. I lay awake at night and think about all the things I'm doing to make my children's lives not as fulfilled as they need to be. And then out of anxiety, I just decorate the house for the season.
Is that really
So,
what that is?
Sometimes. Oh, sometimes for sure. I just think, what if my kids don't know how special every day is? Oh, yeah. I've got all that weird mom stuff for sure.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
All right. I don't know that I've had that particular thought. Lots of other weird mom guilt thoughts, but I don't think that one. Maybe I'm lacking as a mother. Maybe I should be worried more.
Oh, no, it's insane because, I wound up getting in like tiffs with my husband, Barton, because he didn't get like the holiday bins out of the attic in time. And he's like, I know, Stephanie, but we were doing things as a family. And I'm like, no, decorations are for the family. Like insane stuff. So, don't do what I do. Just, you can come visit. Just come visit. That's all you need.
That's how I'll introduce my children to the magic. Just take them to Stephanie's
exactly. Just go see Auntie Stephanie's house. You'll be like, there's enough magic there. Just pick up a little magic. What you're probably thinking, we do St. Patrick's Day, but we do leprechaun traps. I don't do a bunch of decorations, but we do the traps. That's what you're thinking about.
And I will tell you, okay, so here's a little bit of mom guilt. I remember you telling me about these elaborate leprechaun traps that your children create and then set and are sometimes successful, but somehow the leprechaun always seems to get away, but leaves some evidence of his or her presence. And I remember thinking, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. And just this last year, I was like, okay, here we are. And then the day before, I was like, yeah, that didn't get done. We'll be lucky if we wear green tomorrow. So... Yeah, all that to say, there's a lot of magic over at Stephanie's house, and I just watch from afar.
We have almost caught that dang leprechaun like 3 years in a row, and somehow he always gets out of the trap, but somehow he leaves us a little something, a little gold, a little crystals, sometimes some glitter. You just never know what's going to happen. But he definitely always turns the milk green. That dang leprechaun. So one year he turned the water in the toilet green too. So
Nancy, you are fun.
That tricky trickster.
Now I have anxiety that I'm not doing enough as a mom.
I'm like, I only have so many years to create magic that they're gonna remember forever. I gotta get busy.
All right, Stephanie, this year when you guys are making your leprechaun trap, can you call me and remind me to do it as well, please?
Just bring your kids over. We'll make it with mine.
Anything.
We'll all make them together.
Anything to just make sure I do it.
Okay, we'll do. We will absolutely do it. You'll have a lot of fun.
Yes.
You have a lot of fun.
Yes. Well, one more thing before we get into it. I know we have some campfire stories coming, but last week we had talked about, if you go missing, I told you I was going to make sure that somebody really special was cast to play you in, the movie about your life. And I've been thinking about it this week, and I came up with the perfect person. You ready?
Okay, let me know. Yes.
Anne Hathaway.
Okay, so that's kind of funny because I have had several people say that we have similar characteristics. You're not the first one to say that. Now, guys, I am not saying I look like Anne Hathaway. Do not hop on YouTube to say, Stephanie said she looks like Anne Hathaway. But I do think we have some similar features. So I like that. And she's funny.
I was like, she's literally in my mind. I was like, okay, if it's not Anne Hathaway, we can't even make the movie because she's the only person who would be equipped to play Stephanie. She's beautiful. as are you. But she is the kind of person who could play like a very like type A personality, a little quirky, a little like, got all of her ducks in a row and still be so perfectly charming and adorable and likable. And I was like, she could do it. She could play Stephanie. She's the one.
I'm kind of blushing. Such high praise.
Well,
Thank
only
you so
the
much,
best
Cynthia.
for my bestie.
Thank you.
Yes.
I mean, I am a little bit Devil Wears Prada, a little bit Mia Thermopolis. So, it's all tied up in there. It's all tied up in there.
Yes, it is. So now we got that figured out.
Nice. I know. Well, now I'm going to have to start thinking about who would play you.
Oh, I already have that figured out too.
Oh, do you want to reveal?
All right. Tell me if you see it. Kristen Bell.
Done.
Right?
Done and done. Done and done.
No-brainer.
Also singing Into the Unknown.
There you go.
I mean, I know Adina actually sings it, but, Kristen Bell's obviously had to sing part of it. So, yeah.
Now, that's
Done.
just my wishful thinking, Kristen Bell, but I can see it.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. I love it.
So there we go.
Oh,
I'm sure they're listening right now. So Anne, Kristen,
yeah.
We don't have to make a movie about one of us going missing. It could just be about two women who decided to come together and make a great podcast. Reach out. You know where to reach us.
In many ways, I would prefer that scenario. I mean, if I was to choose, I think I would choose the latter.
Yeah, no, you're right.
After having given it more than 3 seconds of thought, I think I would prefer that.
I think you're right. Yeah, okay, good plan. See?
Oh, man. Okay, before we get into today's episode, we do want to talk really quickly about our giveaway for Oaktoberfest. It is an Edgar Allan Poe inspired quilt, handmade by me. I have not yet had time to take pictures, but it's going to be almost completed by the end of this week. So I'm going to have some pictures. In order to be entered in the giveaway, you need to join our Patreon. If you are a $10 tier Patreon member, you get 2 entries into the giveaway. $5 member, 1 entry. And then if you refer a friend to our Patreon, both you and they will receive an additional entry. So you could get up to 3 entries into our handmade Edgar Allan Poe inspired Oaktoberfest 2025 throw quilt
giveaway. Yes.
Giveaway.
Very awesome. I'm excited for that.
There we go.
Yes.
You're gonna love it. So definitely don't forget about that. You can do it all the way up until our drawing on October 31st, which is a Friday. So if you're listening to this a little late in the month, we know sometimes not all of our listeners can stay on, up to date on listening to the scheduled episodes. So if you're just now hearing about this and it's already the end of October, don't worry, there's still time to get your entries in before the end of October. So get it in and you are going to love it. And we can't wait to show you so much appreciation.
That's right. And remember, there's 2 ways to consume our content. There is an edited audio version wherever you listen to your podcast, where we take out our bloopers and our coughs and our mispronunciations of words, etc. And then there's the unedited YouTube version where you get the whole thing as it happened. So both of those are available to you. Just want to let you know that you can watch or listen to one or the other or both.
Wet, disgusting coughs abound. So bless it. Bless it.
I shouldn't have called you out. Now I feel bad for calling you out.
It's not like I can help it. I mean, trust me. Would I want to sound like this? No. I was sitting next to my son a few nights ago. Granted, I've told you about these sweet girls who are just desperate for cuddles and snugs. And then I have my sons. My 11-year-old was sitting next to me last night. And I'm hacking and doing the whole thing and literally just trying to hold it together. And he goes, "Can you just stop coughing?"
Oh.
Like it's a choice.
Oh.
I said, "No, love. I cannot simply just stop coughing. If it was that easy, I would have done it long ago." So, I'm getting it from all sides, really. All right. Well, I realized last week I did not introduce the book that we're reading out of. I did a great job showing it on YouTube, but didn't properly announce it on the audio podcast. So, as I said, we're going back to the original. This is Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Now, I wound up getting the Mac Daddy Granddaddy version, which is all 3 books in one volume book. Like it's in one. So I'm going to show it again here on YouTube. Scary Stories to Tell After Dark. If you remember, these are those like 1-page short stories with those amazing, super creepy, weirdo illustrations that got us all into everything spooky and true crime and basically made the 90s like the best decade ever to be a teenager in. So I get to choose from any of the stories. So Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, and it's a collection by Alvin Schwartz, and the drawings were by Stephen Gamble. And again, they're incredible. I used to love staying up at night reading this book with my little flashlight in my bed. I just thought they were just the best. I couldn't wait to check them out at the library. And my mom would say, "Oh, those again?"
It didn't give you nightmares?
Yes.
It didn't give you nightmares?
Oh,
You were
no.
never scared?
No. No, I don't remember. I mean, if it did, it didn't faze me for very long.
Okay.
I kind of like feeling creeped out sometimes, though. That probably makes me weird. I don't know, but here I am having a mystery podcast.
There you
So,
are.
I will tell you, nothing about this book scared me as much as researching some of the cases that we cover as an adult. So,
Right.
maybe it was just like in training. I don't know. So, at least I knew all this stuff was just fictitious, so it didn't bother me too much. But I have an excellent, excellent story coming to you again from Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Today, I am going to read the story of Sam's new pet. Sam stayed with his... I guess I should introduce Campfire Stories. So Campfire Stories, it's just our celebration of all things spooky and all things spooky season. So this is a 2 to 3 minute, just sometimes funny, sometimes spooky story that you can tell around a campfire, or maybe tell to your kids at night, or just kind of a fun little blip to get you in the spooky mood. So if you're not interested in listening to this little short story, you can just hit forward. This one's a short one, so maybe just 2 or 3 minutes, and we have a full length episode waiting for you on the other side. So without further ado, Sam's new pet. Sam stayed with his grandmother when his parents went to Mexico for their vacation. "We are going to bring you something nice," his mother said. "It will be a surprise." Before they came home, Sam's parents looked for something Sam would like. All they could find was a beautiful sombrero, but it cost too much. So that afternoon, while they were eating their lunch in the park, they decided to buy the sombrero after all. Sam's father threw what was left of their sandwich to some stray dogs, and they walked back to the marketplace. One of the animals followed them. It was a small gray creature with short hair, short legs, and a long tail. Wherever they went, it went. "Isn't he cute?" Sam's mother said. "He must be one of those Mexican hairless dogs. Sam would love him." "He's probably somebody's pet," Sam's father said. They asked several people if they knew who the owners were, but no one did. They just smiled and shrugged their shoulders. Finally, Sam's mother said, "Maybe he's just a stray. Let's take him home with us. We can give him a good home and Sam will love him." It is against the law to take pets across the border, But Sam's parents hid the animal in a box and no one saw it. When they got home, they showed it to Sam. He's a pretty small dog, said Sam. He's a Mexican dog, his father said. I'm not sure what kind. I think it's called a Mexican hairless. We'll find out. But he's nice, isn't he? They gave the new pet some dog food. Then they washed it and brushed it and combed its fur. That night it slept in Sam's bed. When Sam awakened the next morning, his pet was still there. Mother, he called. The dog has a cold. The animal's eyes were running, and there was something white around its mouth. Later that morning, Sam's mother took it to the veterinarian. Where did you get him? The vet asked. In Mexico, she said. We think he's a Mexican hairless. I was going to ask you about that. He's not a hairless, the vet said. He's not even a dog. He's a sewer rat, and he has rabies. And for our YouTube viewers, here is the picture. Let me see if I can get this here.
Oh, man. Yeah, there's no part of me that would want to bring that thing home.
I remember reading this as a kid and being like, I would still love it.
A rabid sewer rat.
I probably would. You kids like Bluey, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, I think the chicken rat episode is maybe one of my favorites. I just love when they say chicken rat. Oh, hang on. Let me fix my mic here. All right, there we go.
I'm not sure I remember that episode, but I will have to look for it. I feel like I've seen them all.
They've made some more. My oldest new friend that lives with us now is obsessed with Bluey, so now I've seen them all about 37 times. I do like Bluey, but now I am done with Bluey.
Thank goodness she likes Bluey and not something like Thomas the Train.
Oh, is that worse?
Oh, my oldest was obsessed with Thomas the Train. It is the slowest. Nothing happens. It's very slow. Now, and looking back now, I'm just having this realization, like, that's his personality. He is just as chill as you can be. Like, the world could be on fire. He'd be like, I'm coming. Like, that boy is so chill. He doesn't get stressed. So it's a beautiful thing. So I guess watching Thomas the Train actually may have been really good to develop just that calmness. But man, for someone like me, I'm like, oh my gosh, nothing is happening.
Oh, man. All right. Well, today we are going to cover the missing persons case of Patricia Spencer and Pamela Hobley. Now, two missing teenagers, and of course, they disappeared on All Hallows Eve in 1969. Now, they went missing from the small town of Oscoda, Michigan, and their strange vanishing sparked a rigorous search and investigation, which seemed to bring up more questions than answers. To this day, almost 60 years later, we still have no answers as to what happened to Patricia or Pamela, no additional clues, no bodies, no closure. So I'm going to go into the movements the day of their disappearance, the initial search for the lost girls, and the slow developments that have crept out of an otherwise cold case. I also want to preface this episode by saying time has definitely not been friendly to this cold case. Details, names, and dates are very hard to come by, so I apologize if this case isn't as comprehensive as our typical case. I still think it's worth covering, but unfortunately, there's just not a lot of hard and fast facts related to the case. I will tell you, I believe some of that is because of a flawed initial investigation as well. So you'll just have to forgive if there are dates. I just may not have them, but I'm going to give you everything that I do. So I'm going to start by telling you about the girls, Patricia and Pamela. 16-year-old Patricia Spencer was described as vibrant and friendly. She was known for her warm demeanor and strong ties to her family. She was very involved in school activities and kept close friends. She was one of those girls you just felt was going somewhere.
Okay.
Just very positive, very warm, very outgoing. And then 15-year-old Pamela Hobley was a bit more of a rebel. It was rumored that she may have been experimenting with drugs and alcohol, and this was putting a bit of a strain on her relationship with her family. But she was still very much cared for, and her family was doing everything they could to help keep her on the straight and narrow. But just to give you an idea of how rebellious, aka independent, she was, at the time of her disappearance, she had recently accepted a marriage proposal.
Oh, okay.
So if that gives you an idea as to, what kind of 15-year-old Pamela was, that gives you some insight.
Well, was he cute?
Here's the deal. I saw the fiance referenced, but I don't know anything about him. Like,
Oh.
I don't know if he was her same age. I don't know if he was older. I don't know anything. I just know she was engaged.
Okay.
So now, I don't think there was a ring or anything actually involved. And again, in the 60s, it could have been something, I just want to get married to get out of my parents' house too.
Sure.
So who knows what that actually looked like. But the fact that she was willing to go that far, say, yeah, throw caution to the wind. She was making her own way. She was going places for sure. She was just going to do it like yesterday. I'm not waiting for it. I'm doing it now.
Right.
Now, it's safe to say that Pamela was definitely feeling all the feels of pubescent teenage girlhood. And I did write here in my notes, as anyone who has ever traveled that journey can confirm, it's not always easy, fun, or pretty. So
still isn't at 43.
No, it never really gets any better, really, after the age of 8. So, yeah. Now, the first curious part of the story is that the activities of 31st, 1969 look very similar for both girls, but it's made very clear that these girls were not what we would call friends. They were more like acquaintances. So they didn't dislike each other. They just ran in completely different crowds. So like different cliques in the school. So the fact that they were seen together and they were doing activities together was a little unusual. They were, however, both students at Oscoda High School and both skipped afternoon classes that day. They were seen walking together along River Road away from the school towards the business district. One very likely possibility for this is that they both skipped school in order to prepare for the school's homecoming football game and a Halloween party that evening. So could they have decided they were going to go shopping or they were going to meet up with someone beforehand? I don't know, but they were marked truant that afternoon.
It's just weird that they would decide to skip school together if they're not friends.
Isn't that weird?
That is weird.
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone has always pointed that out as something that's odd.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how would that come together? And especially because their interests were so different. It's just a very odd detail.
Sure.
Now, earlier that day, Pamela had told her mother and 3 sisters that she planned to return home after attending the homecoming football game and the Halloween party. So when her family got home for trick-or-treating and Pamela still wasn't home, they got worried. Her mother immediately started calling Pamela's friends' homes to see if she could locate Pamela. But one after another, Pamela's friends told her mother that she had never made it to the homecoming game or the party.
Oh, man.
And as a mother, that sinking feeling with every phone call, right? The desperation.
Well, and I'm even thinking, nowadays you'd call your kid's cell phone. And they didn't even have that. So they're literally having to call person by person by person. Just such a helpless, hopeless scenario that would be.
Yep. Yep. She also managed to speak to Pamela's fiance, which again, I wasn't able to get any more information on him, but she was able to get in touch with him. He also confirmed that he had not seen or spoken to Pamela that afternoon or evening. So it was at this time that Pamela's family also learned through this phone tree that Patricia was also missing. So within days, Pamela and Patricia were officially listed as missing. However, for the first week of the investigation, it was speculated that the two girls had simply run away.
Well, especially...
And this is where, it starts to go awry as far as details and investigatory work.
Sure. But if they were seen leaving the school, walking together during school hours, I can see where you might think they ran away. However, isn't a child running away still kind of an emergency scenario?
Well, it is now. I don't think it was in the 60s. I think it is now.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I don't know if we'll leave this in the edited version, but have you been keeping track of that Amber Alert for the 17-year-old around us?
I don't feel like I've gotten one.
Oh, it was last week. There was a 17-year-old that had an Amber Alert in Marion County, which is maybe about 45 minutes north of us. And he texted his mother and said, "I've been shot in van with 4, I think he said Hispanic males. I need help." And that was it. And then his mother, of course, went to authorities, told them what happened. They wound up pinging that location. They went to that location and they found the phone broken on the road. And it was like a 3-day manhunt. And I was just glued to this because horrendous. Like, what is happening right now? Oh, he had alluded in that text to, like, in a van with 4 Hispanics or 4 drivers or 4 men. I can't remember exactly what it said. I need help. Anyway, long story short, he made it all up. He had run away. They had footage of him on his bike, like riding away. He made the whole thing up.
Well, in a way, thank goodness he's okay. And also,
yes.
Wow, I mean, he could get in some big trouble. Have they found him?
They found him. He's been located.
Thank you. Charges. My goodness.
It's bad. And I put so much emotional energy into that story because I just couldn't imagine being that mother and getting that text. And then it turns out it's just made up. I mean, again, I'm with you. Thank goodness. But also, what were you thinking? It's like you get that mother reaction of like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad, that nothing bad happened to you, but also now I'm going to make something bad happen to you.
Well, as you're describing it, I'm like, this just happened last week because it actually sounds very similar to a case that actually happened. It may have been in Florida, but in the last maybe 3 or 4 months, but the boy was found dead.
Oh,
but he was with his estranged family. So it was like his father's side of the family. He'd never met them.
Okay.
He met up with them. And then he ends up calling his mom or texting his mom, asking for help or alluding to something being wrong. And his body was found. I think he was found like in a creek or something.
Oh, that's awful.
So it's a very similar situation. But he actually, didn't make it out. Unfortunately, something really bad did happen there. So anyway, as you're describing it, I'm like, that sounds an awful lot like this other case. So, wow.
Yeah. You may have to look it up after. But anyway, glad he's found safe. Also, buddy, you're in a lot of trouble.
Sure.
So good luck with that. So now police speculated that Pamela and Patricia had tried to run away to Flint, Michigan. Even though I wasn't able to find the exact reason they would think the girls would be traveling to Flint. By car, it's about a 2-hour drive. And remember, these girls would have been hitchhiking. So, in my opinion, it wouldn't be something you would do on a whim. It's not just like a quick trip over to go shopping or something. It would be like a destination, if you will.
There would have been a purpose,
I mean,
a reason why they wanted to go to Flint.
exactly. I mean, I did look into Flint at the time in the 1960s. It was a thriving industrial hub, mostly due to its General Motors plants. And the city was like a cultural hotspot with live music, dances, ice skating. So I guess I can see why it would be attractive to a young person. But both families flatly pushed back at this theory, saying both girls were close to their families. And in addition, neither girl had taken a purse, any identification, or extra clothing when they left. So again, I don't feel like this would have been something they would have done on a whim. Not saying they didn't run away, but I don't think they ran away to go to Flint. I didn't see any reason to put those two things together.
It seems weird to me that you would willingly run away from school in the middle of class and not bring anything at all. So the whole idea of running away, unless they stopped at home on their, after leaving school, that just seems strange to me altogether.
Right, which they didn't, and didn't take anything with them.
So that, I don't know. If I ran away, I'd bring something. My toothbrush?
Yeah, something. Or your ID, I would think.
Yeah.
Money, something to help you. Yeah. And also, I would probably run away with somebody that I knew a little better. I don't know. I mean, I guess you could run away with acquaintance if they were the only other person you could find that was willing to run away.
It's still strange. The fact that they weren't close, I'm still baffled by that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the real tell that they didn't simply run away was the fact that time kept ticking along and there were no sign of the girls. No contact with their families, no sign that they had popped up in Flint. So the police and the investigators finally decided to reach out to the community for assistance. Now, from this plea, police uncovered what they referred to as undisclosed information confirming the girls were in downtown Oscoda the day of their disappearance. As in, yep, they said chirp, they left the school, and they went downtown.
That makes more sense.
That's sure. And over time, investigators officially concluded and announced that the girls must have been hitchhiking when they were abducted by, quote, 2 or more, end quote, assailants, and eventually murdered. And that's it. No additional investigation or information was ever provided. That's it.
Do we know why they came to that conclusion?
Nope.
Oh,
that
okay.
was just what they said. They were hitchhiking and living dangerously.
Okay.
What more could we do?
Well, it's very 60s, I guess.
This whole story is so 60s. They were, again, if the idea is they were runaways that were going to do drugs or consume alcohol and they got killed along the way, I mean, what is there to do? Again, we just handle these kind of cases so much differently now. And I'm grateful for that.
I mean, they're children. It would, even if they were 30-something-year-olds, 40-something-year-olds, I mean, they're human beings. They're valuable, even if they are doing drugs, even if they are living dangerously. These are children.
I agree. And again, they're not bad kids. This makes me go back to the Jeanette De Palma case.
Yes, I was thinking about that.
Literally, like our first case that we covered, their first case that we released at least. How there was all this speculation about Jeanette and the kind of person she was just because she didn't fit into this little box.
Mm-hmm.
And any young person who didn't fit into this exact Beaver Cleaver box. That's the name, right? Beaver
Beaver
Cleaver. Yes.
Cleaver?
Isn't that it?
Oh, Leave It to
No.
Beaver.
Leave It to Beaver. What is the Cleaver reference, though? The
June Cleaver.
Yes, there we go. I was like, Beaver
But is
Cleaver.
that
Is that
Beaver's
no,
mom?
that's not it. Yeah, I was gonna say, so his name is Beaver Cleaver, right?
Beaver Cleaver? I don't know. Is it the same 50s
Okay, now I'm gonna
family?
go
Is it the
wrong.
50s, the 60s?
Well, you know what
Now
I'm
I
saying.
have to Google it. But
Whoever does it, or maybe what would be the modern what would be the modern reference? Stepford Wives? Doesn't fit into like the Stepford Wives like box. You know what I'm saying. So basically, anybody who doesn't fit this mold is somehow, you use the correct word, somehow found to be less valuable or less worth the effort of finding.
Right.
Are you looking it up right
You're
now?
correct. Beaver Cleaver. I just never
Beaver
like
Cleaver.
I know June Cleaver and I know Beaver, but together it just sounded weird.
Yeah. Well, it did. That's why I caught myself.
Yeah.
I went, wait a minute. Is that right? Yeah, that's
You were right. Yeah.
I'll tell you, this is where the case sat for half a century. That's it.
Those poor parents, those poor family members. Wow. Just
Pamela and Patricia were simply another set of teenage girls lost to the proverbial story of the 1960s runaway. But then, in 2010, a new detective was assigned to the case. Chief Mark David once again opened the file that contained the last known information about Patricia and Pamela, and he also found it to be incredibly disappointing. It appeared that the original investigating police department was so convinced that the girls had run away because of drugs or alcohol, or just simply rebellion, that they failed to follow up on any leads they received in the case.
they had leads that they didn't follow up on?
That is correct.
Mm-mm.
That's correct. For example, after the original investigators reached out to the community for assistance in the case, a motorist came forward saying he had seen the girls walking along River Road the afternoon of October 31st. He said he stopped and gave them a ride to a gas station at the intersection of River Road and Interstate 23. Even after being interviewed by police the day after the girls disappeared, this motorist information was nowhere to be found in the file. They didn't even make a note that he had contacted them or spoken to them or had picked up the girls or had any contact with the girls at all.
I mean, there's no, I'm thinking like, do they just not care? Like, there's literally just not even words to like describe how, I don't know. There's no words to describe how terrible that is. Like, what do we
I don't think
I don't know. What was the problem?
the police department, like, they're not villains, but I do think this really sheds light on that mentality of young people just being young people and just disappearing. I mean, just no follow-up, no follow through.
Just the times.
Yep, the times. Yep, I think that's right. I'm not saying it's right,
but it's
I'm
how
just saying
it was.
I think it's the times. It's how it was. Yeah. Now, additionally, in 1985, an informant had come forward telling police that the two girls had been murdered by, quote, two area men, end quote, and buried near a barn, which was known to be a popular location for teenage parties. Now, detectives noted the lead, but made no attempt to investigate the scene at the time this was reported. So they wrote it down like, hey, that's a possibility, but then no one followed up on it at all. So, decades later, Chief David ordered an investigation of this lead and a search of the area. Heavy machinery was brought in to excavate the area, and cadaver dogs were brought in to aid in the search. Unfortunately, though, they detected no evidence of human remains at the scene. But the chief went one step further and even searched other places that were known to be frequented by teenagers, but that also proved to be fruitless. Now, based on new leads and re-interviewing witnesses, in 2013, the Oscoda Township Police Department released a statement indicating they had a person of interest in the case, but they still needed additional information for the case to continue. So, as you can see, the police don't have much. So this is kind of where it ends. We haven't received any follow-up on that person of interest. And based on the age of the case, it's possible they just don't have enough to follow through on. So it's very similar to our Tara's case that we just covered as well, where they may know, Tara Calico's case, they may know who it is, but just because of the passage of time, witnesses have passed away, evidence has been lost, that they may just not have enough evidence to prosecute.
Well, evidence was never even collected.
Yeah. Wow.
You know.
Let's be real. Yes, let's be real.
Sounds like they had a few things that they could have really looked into and didn't even bother.
And they didn't even bother. Exactly. So think about it. 50 years passed. How many things were reported to them at the time that we don't know about now? Again, thank goodness this motorist was even able to be re-interviewed. And he was the one that said, when the case was reopened, he reached back out and said, hey, I just wanted to let you know, you'll probably see my name in the file. I'm here if you want to talk to me. And Chief David said, well, your name's not in the file.
Right.
And he said, well, I definitely talked to police. So he was at least able to re-interview him. How many more of those are out there?
Sure. Probably
that don't even know the case is reopened.
Yeah.
Probably a lot. Probably a lot. Now, as far as theories go, I will tell you they're pretty bleak. So normally I can bring a few more positive ones, like maybe this is what their future looked like. They're all pretty sad and pretty gnarly. There's two primary ones. I'm unfortunately going to have to go over them. They both involve serial killers. That's not generally our thing, but it's what we got here. So I'm going to go for it. In 2004, it was revealed that there was a strong resemblance between 15-year-old Pamela Hobley and an unidentified man and an unidentified woman, and a photo taken by serial killer named Rodney Alcala. Now, Rodney Alcala has recently been thrust in the spotlight because of the new Netflix movie starring Anna Kendrick called Woman of the Hour. The movie focuses on Alcala's real-life appearance as Bachelor number 3 in the 1978 episode of The Dating Game. Now, unbeknownst to America at the time, Alcala was a serial killer and sex offender who was later convicted of at least 7 murders across California, New York, and Wyoming between 1970s and 1979. They were primarily young women and girls who he raped, beat, and strangled. And he is suspected of killing up to 130 victims. 130, Cynthia. That is unfathomable to me. And they said he was able to get this many victims to go along with his terrible plan because of his charm. He was also a photographer who amassed a lot of explicit pictures of his potential targets before he wound up raping and killing them. So, I don't know. Have you seen Woman of the Hour yet?
Yes. Have you?
Oh, it is so creepy. Yes, it is so creepy. Yeah. And
it's a hard watch.
I cannot.
I love Anna Kendrick, and she's not she's not somebody that I think about when I think about heavy stuff, quite the opposite. That movie, that was a hard watch. And that's not even taken into account that it's based on a true story, because it's very much dramatized. It doesn't feel like a true story. It feels like you're just watching a movie. And so when you
But then it
take
turns
into
out
account
it
that, like,
is.
this is,
Yeah.
like, based on a real person, ugh, pretty scary. Pretty
It's so
awful.
creepy. So the idea is these would have been some of his first victims, when he was just getting started.
So she looked like a photo of an unidentified woman he had taken the picture.
Yeah, because he took a lot of photos of his victims before he killed them. There may have been a lot he took pictures of that got away too. I don't know.
Sure.
But there is a picture of a woman that was found in his collection that has never been identified. And it strongly resembles Pamela.
And he was in the
So
area of where they were?
no. No. So people that don't believe in this theory point to that mostly. Most of his killings were in California, in that area. And obviously these girls disappeared from Michigan, so not geographically related. However, I will tell you, this photo, it has the woman is wearing a fake white fur coat, which Pamela was also wearing when she disappeared. I don't know how common
Oh.
those were at the time, but that's curious.
Mhm.
Secondly, facial recognition algorithms have shown between 70 and 83% similarities with photos of Pamela and this woman. I feel like that's pretty compelling.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. I'm gonna have you seen the photo?
I haven't. No, I wasn't able to find the photo.
Oh,
But I don't know. I think that's worth looking into some more.
sure. And he's
Now,
dead, isn't he?
despite
He's
being
dead?
exactly, I was just about to say that. Despite being sentenced to multiple death penalties, he died of natural causes in prison in 2021 at the age of 77. So we aren't likely to hear from him about it. Not like we were really going to hear about it when he was alive either. But and heck, I don't know. After that many victims, do you still remember all of them? I don't even know. I don't even know. But
Mm,
I find that really compelling that she's wearing similar clothing and facial recognition features are similar.
that really is. That really is, pretty compelling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm. That's not good.
No, it's not. And it just gets worse. I I talk about we were talking about, do you get nightmares from reading these? This one I might. So the next even more disturbing link between the girls and a serial killer is the unidentified Oakland County Child Killer.
Yee.
Don't like it. The Oakland County Child Killer, also known as the Babysitter Killer, refers to the unidentified perpetrator or perpetrators responsible for the abduction, sexual assault, and murder of at least 4 children in Oakland County, Michigan between February of 1976 and March of 1977. The victims were 12-year-old Mark Stebbins, 12-year-old Jill Robinson, 10-year-old Christine Mihalik, and 11-year-old Timothy King. Each child was lured away, possibly by a man described as young to middle age with long dark hair, held captive for days while being fed and cared for, then strangled or shot, and dumped in public view along roadsides or ditches in or near Oakland County.
So geographically, this is and timeline, this could work. And I guess they're kind of the right age, although they're a little older.
And people have speculated that it doesn't really
Doesn't
fit
really
into
fit.
the age, the
And
profile.
we haven't found them, whereas these other children were dumped wanting to be found. So I
Right.
don't know. This one doesn't exactly fit for me. This one doesn't fit for
I
me.
agree. Yeah, I agree. Now, strangely enough, and I don't think we'll ever wind up covering this killer. Uh technically it's a mystery, but I'm sorry. I just can't spend any more time talking about this horrible, horrible, horrible case. But just in case anybody is interested, the this particular so Oakland is Detroit. So think Detroit. So it led to the largest manhunt. It led to the largest manhunt in U.S. history at the time, which involved multi-agency task force of 13 communities and the Michigan State Police. However, despite extensive investigation, including 18,000 leads and tips, the case has gone cold and the task force disbanded in 1978 without identifying a suspect. So as of 2025, that Oakland child killer case remains unsolved.
Which is wild because there's 4 children in a year. And the boys and girls.
Boys and girls.
Interesting. And they were all sexually assaulted.
There's some speculation that they were connected to like a child pornography ring. Like there may have been trafficking or something. Yeah, it just goes into this deep, awful,
it's getting
awful,
worse.
awful.
It's getting worse.
Nope, exactly. I told you, I'm done. Like that was as much as I was willing to cover.
Yeah.
I'm not going any deeper into that because, there are just certain things as a podcast and as a person. There's just certain amount of evil I just can't get that close to. And that's one of them. So drawing the line for my own self-care. We're done with that now. I really pray that that is not what happened to the girls for their sake. I really hope that's not what happened to them. So again, there's not much more to go on. Pamela's family posted a $1,000 reward for any information to look at Pamela or to bring any possible murderer to police custody. Her sister, Pamela's sister, Mary, has continued to show support for Patricia's case. Most notably, she makes statements at Most notably, she always appears at a state event known as Missing in Michigan, where family members of missing Michigan residents rally alongside law enforcement and share details about their loved ones' cases. Pamela and Patricia have both been entered into national databases, such as the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, NamUs, and the Doe Network to gain more awareness. Both have also received age progression photos to aid in their search. Patricia Spencer, at the time of her disappearance, was Caucasian. She was between 5'3" and 5'5". She was between 5'3" and 5'5" tall and about 125 pounds. She had long blonde hair and blue eyes. She usually wore glasses, but wasn't that day, and her clothing included a tweed or brown plaid skirt, brown sweater, gray and green plaid jacket, and brown shoes with thick heels. Pamela was Caucasian, between 5'6" and 5'8" tall, 110 to 115 pounds, with long brown hair and brown eyes. She had scars on the bridge of her nose and near the left corner of her mouth, and again, was engaged. Tips can be submitted to the Oscoda Police Department at 989-739-9113 or the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children at 1-800-THE-LOST.
Hold on 1 second. Okay, that's rough. That's rough. And just no idea where they could be. I don't know.
I feel like there aren't many leads. Like there aren't even any theories. And the ones we do have are awful. I hope neither of those things happen to them.
Well, there probably are lots of leads. We just lost them. We never bothered to write him down in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Man, that's rough. Because really, 15 and 16-year-olds walking, did they get picked up together somewhere in town? Did they get picked up after they were dropped off by the gentleman at a convenience store, right? He dropped them off at a convenience store. Like, did they get picked up there? Did they meet somebody? And that's
See,
why the
that's
two
what
were
I want to
together.
know. Exactly. Like, because, one of them seemed a little bit more adventurous, I guess I'll use the word, than the other one. So was the other one maybe interested in trying maybe recreational drugs and knew the other one had maybe a connection? Or maybe she just thought she had good fashion sense and said, would you mind going shopping with me and helping me pick out an outfit or something? I mean, it could be just something so easy and simple. I don't know. Uh, maybe one of them met an older guy who offered to get them alcohol. I just think it's very weird that they skipped school on a day they knew they were going to go back to the school.
Right.
Like, they knew they were going back for the homecoming game. They knew they were going to go to that party.
Like, did they have dresses?
I just think it's odd circumstances. I think it was an odd circumstances.
Did they have dresses for homecoming? Like, did they go to buy dresses?
And maybe, it was Halloween. So costumes?
Oh, maybe they wore costumes, right? To the homecoming. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. It's very weird. I feel like for the two of them to be together, I feel like that's key, but at the same time, that doesn't necessarily explain why they went missing. Like, they could just, the two of them be hanging out for some unknown reason, and that unknown reason why the two of them, who aren't really that close, are hanging out, still have nothing to do with where they went, who took them, what happened to them. You know what I mean? There could just be some weird reason why these two girls were hanging out, even though they're just acquaintances. And there's also some weird thing that happened that caused them to go missing. Because I'm like attributing those two things together. Like, somehow there must be a connection. Like, they must have been trying to meet somebody, or they must have been going somewhere, or they must have been doing something, and that's going to explain it all. But I might just be getting caught up in the weeds about something that's not really important.
Ironically, I think I may actually fall into the original theory proposed by police, is that they just hitchhiked with the wrong guy. They got into the wrong car. But the fact that there was no additional follow-up, and again, I don't know in 1969 how much follow-up was there. There weren't interstate networks, where you could enter missing persons. Information wasn't shared as easily. Say you were a transient, you were just passing through, no one would have even known you were there. So, I say they didn't do their job, and it sounds like they didn't. I mean, even the chief, that's investigating their case now has definitely said, yeah, they dropped the ball. But at the same time, I don't know, even if they had investigated, if they would have been able to find out who it was based on the available databases they had. Does that make sense?
Right.
Like, I still don't know that this case would have been solved, even if they had been all over it.
No, I agree.
Now, could they have identified the last car the girls got into? Maybe. But would they have necessarily been able to find who owned that car and what happened to the girls? I don't know.
I think you make a good point. But at least we could have said, but we did everything we could.
Yep.
As opposed to being like, they were probably going to get drugs. So, you know what I mean?
I hate that. I know.
Right. Like,
I know.
at least we could assign the value to two human beings that they deserve, regardless of whether or not they were going to get drugs or anything else. Like, none of that matters. They're human beings, they're children. And so I just wish I wish someone was able to look their mothers in the eye and say, we did everything we could. Because I'm sure their mothers at the time probably felt like, there was more to be done. I can only
Oh,
imagine.
I know that. As a matter of fact, Pamela's mother in particular was very outspoken. Some time had gone by and she felt like the police weren't doing anything, which, as we know, they weren't. And she flat out took out full page ads and said, my daughter is missing. This is what I know. I need help. And she did it over and over and over and over in order to keep her name in the public. And her daughters, Pamela's sisters, have now picked up that fight. They're leading that charge. I saw an interview with one of her sisters and they said, as much as I'm doing it for Pam, I'm doing it for my mom, because that's what she wanted. She's since passed away. She said, that's what she wanted us to do, was to find her older sister. And I can imagine, for her, that was her younger sister. So at 8 years old, she gets home from trick-or-treating to find out that her 16-year-old sister is just gone. That shapes your childhood. That shapes the way you view the world.
Could ruin your childhood.
Yeah.
Could ruin your childhood.
So, so again, I think you're right. I think that would be really devastating as a mother, to have talk about victim blaming. It's almost victim blaming by apathy. Not even directly blaming, just saying, well, we don't deal with that kind of thing. That would just be awful to hear. And then to never know what happened to your daughter.
Right.
Very sad.
Yeah.
So, but let's bring it around with our branch of hope. We found a way to incorporate our Edgar Allan Poe handmade quilt throw into our branch of hope, and also what my family is working on this month and next month and the month after that and the month after that. But we are sponsoring an organization called A Blanket of My Own, and this organization hand makes quilts for children entering foster care. When you enter foster care, you take almost nothing with you. You are lucky if you get the clothes you were wearing and an additional outfit and a toothbrush. So this organization gives you something that is your very own. And I shared last week, my two girls got their blankets, and I have one that's too young to really understand what's going on, but the one that does, she literally hugged it and said, "A blanket of my own." And it just, the tears were a-flowing. And she has that little blanket now, and that's her little blanket. To her, that was such a special thing. And we had already picked this organization before they had received theirs, but then to see it in action, to see how special that was to her, it just sealed the deal that this feels good. This feels right. And there are multiple organizations around the country that do this same work. The blanket for my girls came from a different organization, but there are groups all over that are doing what they can for the least among us that need the most care and the most love. And it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. So this money will go towards buying the materials, and then volunteers come and quilt those blankets for those sweet, sweet babies. And preteens and teens too, that just have something that they can call their own, that they can take with them if they are reunited with their families, or if they go to a different home, if they go to a group home, or if they age out of the program, or if they are adopted, they get to take that blanket with them. So it's a very, very special program. We're so honored to support them this month.
And the organization is called A Blanket
Of my
of
own.
My Own. It's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Very, very sweet.
Yes.
So if you want more information on that, let us know. A portion of literally everything that we take in goes directly to these organizations before we do anything else, before we pay any bills, before we order any swag, directly to that organization. So know that we are being very good stewards of what you are giving to us. We take that job very, very, very seriously. And we want to make sure that we are honoring these organizations and honoring you, and earning your trust in this process. And we love so much that you're on this journey with us.
That's right. That's right.
All right, friends. Well, I think we might cut this one. I'm not going to say short, but I think we're going to go ahead and log off because I need to rest my voice. Next week, my goal is to be back and sound like a whole person. Not whatever this is.
You did an amazing job, as usual. I feel bad for giving you a hard time. I was giving you a hard time like best friends do, and then as soon as I said it, I was like, oh gosh, that probably sounded really mean. Everybody's gonna think I'm so mean. This is live. We're recording. We can't even edit that out.
I know. I will tell you. I had a real fun time editing out all of my coughs last week. This week is nothing. Last week, I got to listen back to all of my coughing as I was coughing. And a lovely cacophony, shall we say.
And yet, the editing, another brilliant editing job. I'm telling you, Stephanie needs an award for her editing. The stuff she edits out. If you're watching on YouTube, you know what we're talking about.
So much stuff. No cats tonight.
No,
so you got
no cats, no kids.
But no cats, no kids. Just some really gross coughing. We'll try to make it more entertaining in the future. Folks.
That's right.
Right now, you're just on this health journey with us.
That's right.
All right. You're bringing a case next week, right, Cynthia?
I am. Yes, and I'm going to keep it a secret because it is subject to change, only because I have like 3 that I'm really excited about that I'm working on right now. And the last one I announced, then I was like, hold on, wait, I'm not putting that one out yet. Because sometimes you get into these cases and you realize, oh, I need to do more research on this. And, there are weeks where you can spend many, many hours researching. And then there's weeks where you don't have as many hours to research. So sometimes you shift a little bit. But if it's the one I think I'm going to bring, man, it's pretty gnarly.
Okay. I'm going to definitely make sure I have my voice for next week.
Yeah. Pretty gnarly.
All right, Shiver Seekers. Thank you so much for joining us.
Bye.
See you later. Bye-bye.